Yo, the crowd is packed, the lights are dim. Front row's buzzing, it's about to begin. Ad tech, ad talk, they're taking the stage. Adam and Gareth on a knowledge rampage. Ad tech, ad talk, it's a live Q&A. Buy side, sell side, clearing.
This is a dream come true. Welcome to Ad Tech Ad Talk. It is January 16th, 2026. Me, Adam Heimlich, and my best friend, Gareth Glazer, are here to take your questions, to talk about Chalice and Gamera and all the other wonderful startups in ad tech who are revolutionizing the industry. Thanks to our sponsor for the last 10 weeks, and farewell, unless you renew, to Pontiac DSP, the low-cost, transparent, and flexible alternative in the bidding landscape. Worth checking out if you want to test sell-side decisioning and want the most efficient possible path, which you should. Thank you very much for Pontiac for breathing life into our show. We love you. Thank you.
I will say, if the sponsorship does nothing else, I don't think I'm ever going to forget that Pontiac DSP is flexible, transparent, and low cost. I think that is just drilled into my brain more successfully than maybe any other message I've ever heard. So
that's
I've got
brand
to believe
awareness,
it's like somewhat similar.
Message awareness, ad recall, all lifted by this show. Those are some of the KPIs that Ad Tech Ad Talk can lift. Maybe you could probably do product awareness.
I hope someone puts us in a how did you hear about us, and we get an Ad Tech Ad Talk, and this could be real. So attribution, incrementality.
Anyone who's heard fragmalidation is attributable to this show, directly or indirectly, for what that's worth. So, Gareth, as I was saying, we got a new office. Chalice has outgrown our FIDI office and has now moved into the City Hall area. It's different. I'm on a higher floor. I could see both rivers here from my desk. The whole team seems happier. They're not as crammed in. New York team, that is. About more than half of Chalice is remote. The way we do it actually is that engineers and data scientists can live wherever they want. And then a lot of other teams can live wherever they want. But sales and service is New York and London, except for the Chicago and Cali salespeople. But so there's a bunch of people in New York in sales, service, technical account management, and we have a lot of fun, and we're going to have even more fun in the City Hall area. But I have a funny New York story about our New York neighborhood. Yesterday was a first day, one of our first days here. We don't come in every day, so yesterday, Thursday, was one of the first days a bunch of us was in here, and me and Chalice's head of partnerships, Kenny Paul, were like saying, like, did you see there's like a really shady looking massage place in our building just around the corner? It's one of those that has no windows. It's just a neon sign that says open 24 hours. And we're just like, yeah, I saw that. And then as it happened, I had a very stiff neck yesterday, and time between date night with my wife and work. And I walked out. I was like, I'm not going to go to that fucking place because, it's too shady looking. I'll walk up to Chamber Street. And then I walked out. It was 20 degrees. So I was like, all right, I'll just walk into this place. And if you're not familiar with this underground world in New York, you could tell which ones are the illicit ones because they ask for money up front, whereas a legitimate massage place will just move right to the massage and expect to be paid later on.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that? You didn't
and
know
I
that?
find it fascinating that you knew that.
First time I was asked for money up front, I was like, what's happening? Then it dawned on me, and whatever, no judgment. But I'm not even gonna, so anyway, I just take a step up and I walk in, and the door opens, and it's a lady cop, and I see the place is full of NYPD with flashlights and everything. And the lady cop starts giving me shit, like, what are you looking for? What are you doing here? Like, what kind of massage are you looking for? And I was like, whoa. You have to be very ice conscious of the police. So I was just like, I was looking for a legal massage. I'm new in the neighborhood. I'm going to walk up to Chambers Street despite the 20-degree weather. And that's what I did. I had a great massage in a legitimate place where they even had the official city licenses of the massage therapists on the wall. That's how legit this place was. And it was great. I recommend it. It was called golden sunshine, spring, good luck, something like that.
I mean, there was a golden opportunity to ask the officer if it costs extra money because she's dressed up like a cop. And I think, is you can see how
That's
that
what I
gone.
should have said. That's what I should have said.
You see how that goes. You
That's
never know.
what I should have said. It was very convincing.
Yeah, that sounds right. Oh gosh, we had one of those next to my old place in the West Village, and like we went there once, and my wife had a sore neck, and turns out she walked out with a herniated disc in her neck after the
Oh my
massage. Yeah,
God,
it went
really?
great. Oh yeah, it was tough, man. It was that was a
You have to know how to
strange
say
time.
"don't herniate my disc" in Mandarin.
It's, I speak some Mandarin, and I don't have that one. Now this
Yeah,
is I've identified a hole in my because I lived in China. That's where I studied abroad when I was younger, and
oh yeah.
this is a major gap in my Chinese that I'm gonna have to rectify
I'll
when
tell
I
you.
die
I'll tell
after
you
this.
another a funny story. This is my favorite funny story. My little brother is quite a character, and he was in Phnom Penh, which is the
Mhm.
the place in Vietnam where you get suits made, right? It's the garment industry of the whole Southeast
Cambodia,
Asia.
sir.
Sorry, Phnom Penh, whatever. But what he heard is like, oh yeah, they'll make you a custom suit really fast, but they tend to make the hips too narrow because they're not used to Westerners
Yeah,
having, wider hips. What
that's the
Western
thing.
men having wider hips and is the narrow one. So he learns how to say, "I have a very big butt" in Cambodian or Vietnamese, whichever. It's Vietnamese. He learns how to say, "I have a very big butt," and he says he's up there and he's being measured, and he like busts it out, and it's like lap tak lak nap tam. He said the whole place went quiet, like all these tailors and factory, and then just bursted out laughing like a minute later.
That's amazing. It's a really funny face to stumble through that they definitely had never heard before. Also, who knows what he actually said? Because that's a really funny one to look up. Like they can go in so many directions, right? Like, like this is wonderful. The joys of being abroad.
He probably
Especially
didn't
this
get it
place.
right. He said the suit was still too tight in the hips. But you also got a new WeWork, right?
I did. So we officially got office space, which is very exciting. We are at like 38th and Broadway, which is, like one of the levels of hell, but not like too far down at the bottom. Like
It's really good
it's
if you
like
like the
about
smell of
halfway.
hot dog water. If you
Lot
like
of
this
lot of
hot
old
dog
hot
water
dog
smell.
water.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't
They
change
pour
that
it
stuff
out.
out very often. And when they do, it's pungent. Uh, but yeah. So as you guys can tell, I uh I have very short hair on top, as in like very little of it.
Might
And
have
so I
something
was
to
like,
do
oh
with
yeah,
Midtown.
yeah. I had a meeting yesterday, so I was like, oh, I need to like go get what little hair I have like trimmed up. And so I popped out into a barber shop. And they charged me $75 to like
In
shave my
Midtown?
head
Are you
in
sure it's a
Midtown.
barber shop and not a
I'm
happy ending
positive.
barber shop?
Yeah, well, it was unfathomable. So
Did they
I
ask
sat
for the
there, I
money
get to the
first?
end, and I was just like, this is like, are you serious? This is 75. You literally just buzzed my head and it shaped up my beard. And he points to the glass, and it said men's haircut and men's shave each $30. And I was like, yeah, but is it really a
You're
haircut,
bald.
buddy? Like,
This is
what do you?
evidence.
Like, if I come in here with
Inconceivable!
shouldering hair, it would be the same cost. That doesn't make much sense. But yeah, this is life. This is life in 2025 or 2026. Um, all I could think about was this is absurd. But hey, you know what? It's a prime location. They got to pay the bills.
I
Just
guess
one more day in the
so.
life of a
Can you bridge
Manhattanite.
that to the ad tech market?
Probably can bridge that to the ad tech market. I actually am very curious about this. I've been in ad tech for, like whatever it is, like 13, 15 years. Um, Inflation has happened a lot since then, right? Like inflation has happened in the market, but
Yeah, the
my
turkey
brain
sandwich.
still, yeah, yeah, yeah. But my brain still prices things in like $20, $12. So when I'm like, hey, what CPM should ads cost, right? Like how much should a vendor cost? In theory, that should have materially gone up over the
Yeah.
past 15 years because of the state of like the economy. But I don't feel like it has. I don't know. Is that weird? Do
No,
markets not move this way? Is this like a weird
there's
thing,
no
or
inflation.
there's no inflation in ad tech? Like it's what's going on here? I mean, it's well, I guess everyone was basically robbing everyone at the from the very start. So there's we've reached the threshold of how high it could possibly go, and the only way it could go is down. But I don't know. I find it very interesting. I think about it all the time when I look at like CPMs and I look at other things. Is like, has there been a proper doubling or whatever inflation is supposed to be of your average publisher CPM? And I'm not sure that I've seen it.
Yeah, I think the
It's
bar
kind
on
of weird.
supply is so low, right? The line below which someone won't buy your ad, which means the algorithmic decisioning is so crude that supply is essentially infinite,
Yeah.
right? You don't need any publisher assets. You don't really need publishing assets to get ad revenue, which means there's an infinite source of supply. And I think that's why there hasn't been inflation, right? Like it's just there's hasn't been pressure.
Well, I will say, after last week's show, I've gotten a lot of, and one of your salespeople posted about it, and I've gotten a lot of positive reactions to like the reflection on the size of the market and how much bigger it should probably be.
Yeah.
And there's probably a dialogue to be had here that what CPM maintenance has occurred has been artificial scarcity, right? So it has been I would refer to it as luxury scarcity, where a publisher who is recognizable as a brand is capable of convincing someone not because of performance, but because of more nebulous like branding reasons that their inventory should be worth more. And there hasn't really been well, we have an efficient market at valuing these impressions, and this is what the floor is. The market's actually pretty bad at valuing impressions. And because of that, prices just don't really move. Because they're not going to. If the market's not efficient, it's not going to track to inflation. It's not going to track to anything because
For scarcity, or
there's no
quality,
scarcity. Yeah,
or
there's none of it.
innovation, or effectiveness. So yeah, I mean, of course, we both think about this a lot, but that's really coming to a head for me. My business and yours depend on a certain rationality in markets, right? Our thing is optimization. Like it's easy for you to say $75 haircut, I'm not going to go back there. That
Hmm.
place is just for tourists. Most people won't go back because they have a bad price. But our thing is optimization, which is supposed to be like that sort of learning at scale. Like I bought something, it wasn't worth what I bought. I can pay it again. I got something that
Yeah,
turned out worth more than I thought. I'm going to buy more of it. Like both
right.
of our businesses depend on that sort of iteration and improvement based on that iteration. And it's foiled to the extent that there's shenanigans. We'll say, shenanigans ruin it. And a lot of the shenanigans are money that gets absorbed in the middle of the market for no good reason, right?
Hmm.
Non-disclosed markups and fees that make it really hard for the advertiser and publisher to have a transparent exchange, right? I paid this and got that. Like it's just been too hard, and it's still too hard. But what's different now, I think that we both represent, is that the technology has arrived, that it actually can be fixed, right? That's what you were talking about last week. That got a good response. I think it's very powerful as you do to compare it to Facebook. There's no case where there's a Facebook bid request that's trying to fool the Facebook bidder. That's a huge advantage they have over
Yep.
us, right? That they have their transactions all have all the data available to the bidder, and the bidder can make an informed bid decision. And that's not how it's been in programmatic, but it can be that way because the technology is here. The decisioning technology of AI and the deployment technology and containerization and the data quality coming through companies like Gamera, Sincera, DeepSea, right? I think the data quality piece often gets overlooked. And as a side here, if you want to understand data quality in AI, look up this guy, Edwin Chen, the CEO of Serge AI. It's a data quality company that works for OpenAI and Anthropic and Claude and everyone. The company bootstrapped to $1 billion. And I
What?
heard, yeah, I heard an interview with him. It was on Lenny's podcast, December 7th. And I recommend that because like data quality is a huge misunderstood issue or poorly understood issue in AI. And it's another one that's like being solved in our world, right? Like that's what Gamma is about. It's like better quality data will result in better decisions. Go ahead.
Yeah. Is this the guy who realized that there needed to be humans reviewing
Yeah.
the seed data that went in, and he identified this need really early, and he was like, "Oh, people are going to need boatloads of human beings who actually review training data for these algorithms. And he
Yeah,
built all of the infrastructure to have humans like en masse reviewing the training
that's
data
right.
for quality. Ah, interesting.
That's
Smart
right. And
guy.
he has PhDs. He has PhDs asking PhD level questions and
Yeah.
commenting on them so they could trace where AI falls down on advanced questions because of problems in its training data and fixes them. So
Yeah.
all the big models have to go to him because their scrape data isn't high enough quality. He's providing higher quality signal than anyone else, and that's how he bootstrapped to $1 billion. So it's really cool to talk about him. He's very skeptical of the leaderboards, which I think have sort of been exposed. Like the Gemini 3 won
Yeah.
the leaderboards. The people who are using it are increasingly saying it's actually not the best, despite having the best leaderboard performance. So I listened to Edwin Chen on my flight to Vegas, and it was great, a great interview.
I really like that because I think data scrutiny is one thing, and I'm in the inventory data game, so like there are not a lot of us, and so the data sets that we build, like we kind of have to scrutinize them. But I think that there will be added scrutiny for all the user-based data that's coming. People talk about it all the time, right? Like how do we police the quality of user data? And one of the things the IAB, God bless them, um, they tried to build a spec for this, right? Like with data provenance and all of this stuff, which I remain skeptical of. But the thesis is nice, right? Like, could we assemble metadata about a given segment, right? How long has the user been in the segment? Where did the segment come from? Who's the like initial owner
Yeah.
of the data? Blah, blah, blah. Like that's a cool idea. It's interesting.
It's like when you have a
Um,
menu and there's a burger on it and it says where the beef is from.
yeah. What the cow's name was? I want to know the name. There's a great Portlandia about this. Like,
Yeah, I know. Were the chestnuts local? Yeah.
yeah, it's we're growing up. Industry's growing up. That's why everyone's an optimist. It's amazing. 2026, all of a sudden, all these people are optimists. Everyone's always talking trash to me
Yeah.
about banners and programmatic. Now 2026 rolls along, and like the tide is turning. I hope that we turned it, Adam. I hope it was us.
Well, we're
I
gonna
hope
do
that like
more. We're gonna do more, Gareth. We're so now that you're funded, you're gonna have to be a contributor with me, the first two founding members of a new industry group that's focused on this problem of making the markets more rational, getting money out of the middle, doing research and helping people find efficient paths, catching shenanigans, and adopting higher tech, higher data quality solutions that, at the same time make performance better and working media up, right? Which has been impossible in this marketplace until now. Now it's very possible. You can get more for your dollar and less cost. So David Maldo, help me introduce this brand new industry group launching soon with Adam Hammock and Gareth Glazer as the founding members. It's the Ad Tech Coalition to Restore Openness and Normalize Yield Markets. As we're calling it, ACRONYM. Look at that firepower.
wait, is that the
We're
good
in
guys
the
or the bad
acronym
guys?
war room. What do you think?
I love the acronym War Room. We are at war. We
It's
continue to
war.
be at war.
It's war.
It is a thing. Like
Yeah.
there's a long chart of people who are trying to claw things away from openness.
Yeah. We don't even
Um,
have to talk about them. That's what I was thinking. Like, we just accentuate the positive. We'll show people good paths like Gamma Index,
oh,
Pontiac, all in the container doing their thing. And, you might have 85% working media and all the performance of a stack that would cost you 30%. That's the kind of thing I want people to be more aware of. That one's self-interested, but the other founding members of ACRONYM, I hope to find some more at IAB ALM in early February. We'll decide like what our actual projects of ACRONYM are going to be. But the job isn't to make this big. The job is to make it effective. So
yeah.
if it's going to be small, it'll be small, but we're going to go for really high impact research, projects, guidance, whatever it takes. And neither of us are going to be the out front leader. That the money is going to be used to hire someone with a prominent and neutral voice, and not an owner of a company.
I think it's right, and I think that there are companies who are doing it. Like We need a fiducia that's representing agencies. Where's the agency fiducia? Because fiducia is like doing their thing with the ANA, right? Which is cool. And it's hard. They're doing it in the least pleasant way possible with log level analysis, but they are doing it. Like they do slap something in front of advertisers that goes, here's what your working media was. Like, and I don't
Yeah.
know how right it is, but I know that at least someone's saying that. Because the working media word, oh, this would be a great one for 2026. Let's make working media a buzzword for 2026. Because it hasn't been, right? Ad
It's
tech
like
hasn't had working media be a buzzword for a really, really long time. Because a lot of ad tech companies find the term working media very scary.
or ad tech tax.
Yeah. I mean, people like to talk about the ad tech tax, but that's you can always point fingers and say somebody else is doing the ad tech tax. But the reality is we all depend on one another. And what matters at the end of the day is working media. And God, if I were a publisher, I would be just saying this constantly. Like if I were
Yeah,
a direct
I like
sales team,
working
I would,
media. I mean,
oh,
working media is really a pub thing, right? The money gets to the publishers. If your ad tech company just takes their fee out of the budget, it will improve working media, but not necessarily make things more efficient for the advertiser, right?
right.
Like, so
Exactly.
that it's
It
not
it
perfect.
also improves outcome efficiency. Like you said,
Yeah.
it's the advertisers too. They care
I'd
about
rather
this.
hit on, when we showed that Wall Street Journal article in our first show of the year, like the pressure to adopt AI and reduce marketing expense. I'd rather aim at that than working media, which is a narrower target. Let's speak to all the brands that are, have a CFO saying adopt AI and save 17% by the end of the year. Like we want to be there for them. Like here are some ways you can actually do that without screwing up your results. And then maybe even improving your results.
They'll get better.
They'll get better. Well,
They'll get
so that's
better.
that's the message of
Cheaper and
acronym. More
better.
on acronym. Is there any
Cool.
activity in the chat as we announce the ad tech coalition to restore openness and normalize yield markets?
That's quiet
Ladies, you
today.
see
It's cold
anything?
out.
It's cold. No one's watching this
It's
week.
cold out today.
We have viewers, but they're a little shy in the chat this week.
That's all right. Chat, feel emboldened.
Okay.
Like we can go hard today. When I talk about banner blindness, which I'm going to. Let's
All
roll
right.
through
Let's talk
yeah,
about Grok first.
let's talk about Grok. Do we want to do Kreative Korner?
After Grok. Wow, Maldo. I love Grok Controls, where we check in on the most evil AI in the advertising and media world, aka Grok. So this week, uh, we didn't cover it, but between Christmas and New Year's, there was this whole crazy thing about Grok. You could tell it to take someone's clothes off, and it would. I didn't even report it. It was so stupid and corrosive that they let it go on. Wait, bring it back big again so I could read the story. So they announce that Reuters announced that the Defense Department says they're going to hire Grok to be the AI of the military network. Someone immediately replies, it actually said put an image, put all our enemies in a bikini, joking that that's what military's going to use Grok for. It immediately puts Pete Hegseth in a bikini. Not a great job, right? Because Pete Hegseth famously has a bunch of Nazi tattoos on his body that they didn't properly render. But a funny thing that happened on Grok this week, but then the punchline is then the news the next day that Grok finally does something about the ability to cue it to take anyone's clothes off. It's like they get the government contract after doing nothing for a month. They're like, oh yeah, now we have this government contract and it's a fucking
It was
what's it?
Pete. Pete
What?
saw the bikini, was like, that
What
looks
the fuck?
so good that's a little upsetting to me.
It's illegal.
like like this is something that I have proclivities for that I don't talk about, so this makes me profoundly uncomfortable. And Elon, fix it.
Since you told people on the show to follow me on Twitter and watch me use Grok to try to teach people facts, I
Yeah,
haven't gotten any more likes. Nobody took you up on that. You're alone in thinking that my mental illness is entertaining, but it's
it's
also
not
good
mental
prompt
illness.
prompt
It's
practice.
it's really good. Oh, and I
Thanks.
recently someone insulted you about your prompt practice, and then you did a bunch of wonderful summaries of all of that person's content. Oh gosh, it's amazing. It's like you have every mistake you've ever made in an argument, and you're married, you know how this works. Every mistake you've ever made in your life is now like fully available. And like like I hear about things that I did many years ago, but like Grok knows for like will
Yeah.
quote you back to yourself.
It's so funny.
And it's just
Yeah, if someone calls you a moron, you could say like, Grok, quote the last 20 times this person used moron in a reply. And it's like
yeah.
so fucking repetitive. They just look like an idiot.
Yeah. Hey, Grok, what's this person's content normally like? And Grok goes, oh, this person basically just talks shit to people. Like, this is all that they do. It's awesome. I love
Grok
Grok.
is on my side. All right, we should go easy on Grok, but Grok working for the military is, of course, terrifying, disturbing. This is a comedy show, so we'll leave it at that. Now we have a new feature this week. We're very excited to have the ladies of Ad Tech Ad Talk taking the stage, because this will be the first time me and Gareth ever get a break during the show, but also because we love the ladies. They are the creative force behind the show. Marley Baker and Sasha, eccentric I call her, but it's accent chick, in a Creative Corner, starting this week on Ad Tech Ad Talk. Maldo, let's see what set you made for them. Magic
Hey,
Garden.
everyone. Yay.
Guys, I'm
Okay.
so happy to be in the Creative Corner. This feels like
I'm happy
home.
to be in a giggle patch. I never knew what a giggle patch was before this week, and I couldn't imagine anything better, honestly.
I believe it was called the Chuckle Patch.
Oh, the Chuckle Patch. I think you're right. Chuckle Patch.
Shit.
It's
My
correct.
bad.
Sasha and I do a lot of giggling. Sometimes we giggle so much we have to end Zoom calls. So
Yes,
don't get us
that is
started.
true.
Yeah, this reference to Magic Garden is only people who were kids in the 70s in the New York area. It was a local show.
What's the
So you gotta
Magic
be,
Garden?
yeah.
I
it was a
didn't know it
kid's
was
show.
local.
It was local.
It was
yeah.
so part of my world. I thought it was
Yeah,
you know,
it was local.
galactic. Well, we do have some content to talk about today. I need some help with this because I don't know what's real and what's not real. I see this crazy AI lady eating burgers, and my understanding it was first in a McDonald's ad, but it might have been a fake ad, and then Burger King made an ad to make fun of the first ad, saying this is creepy. But I'm watching the Burger King ad. I don't want Burger King anymore because it's so creepy. I'm a big fan of AI. I'm like, no, it's not creepy. It's great. I love AI graphics, but this lady scared me. Have you all been following the story better than me? Because I am lost.
Yeah, so I think the original ad was where the controversy started. McDonald's came out with an ad during the holidays in the Netherlands, I believe, and it was completely made with generative AI. And due to the flack it immediately got pulled. So I think this started this discourse. And Marley, do you want to explain the response video?
Yeah, I fell for fake news. Like, I read that this was Burger King's response to McDonald's AI ad, and you should watch it. It's upsetting, it's disturbing, but it's actually kind of clever. So I would go take a look and watch this one. It was actually made by like an actors coalition who were like, actors deserve to get paid for ads. So kind of an interesting story. I'm emo about generative AI and creative. I feel like I could spot it. I don't like it, but I love when somebody applies it in a super creative way. That's why this story caught my eye.
She made a good point. If you watch the video, and we'll put a link in the description after this, if the show's over. As she's being creepy, she leans into the camera and she goes, "If you hired a real actor, the actor would have had to sign a contract saying I'm not going to eat any of the burgers. But I'm not even a person. I'm AI. I don't exist. I could do whatever I want. I can eat this burger. I can eat this burger." And it makes a point. If you use an AI actor to promote your product, what's to stop anyone else from using that? I guess unless you're copyrighted or something. But it raised a whole bag of advertising, marketing, AI thoughts in my head of what we can do and what we can't do. But she's scary.
And the bigger question, right, of like the sea of sameness. We're all making the same things. I don't know. Something I think about a lot.
Yeah. And I think just like taking that creative and using it against McDonald's, I thought was so clever. Like, why can't you rip it? You really didn't create this yourself, but use generative AI. And I think this is just a good example about how I think we as a society, we're not really ready for a full Gen AI creative because you can spot it right away. It's super uncanny valley. And also too, I think the timing of this is really poor. The original McDonald's ad was very negative, and I think the last thing that people really want to hear around the holidays is like about how much life fucking sucks. So I think that just the poor timing and using the AI, like it just made for like a creepy, uncanny valley kind of cold ad that, you know, when you want to feel warmth and happiness during the holidays, you don't want to watch this scary woman. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents.
All right, great points. Any final thoughts, or should we bring the guys back?
I have a thought. Send me
Yeah.
your cool ads. The only ads that I am like consistently seeing right now are for Apple Watch, and I'm an Apple Watch fan. So if you have something like fun and weird that you would love to get on the show, we'll break it down together.
What's that? Marley at
Chalice AI, chalice.ai.
There you go. All right. All right. Thanks everyone for joining us in the Creative Corner. Yay!
Great to see you on the show, Marley and Sasha.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I want a burger like right now. I
Yeah,
don't know
the
if that's
burger,
just a
yeah.
commentary on me, but it looked great.
You know what I was thinking is like movies came out. I don't know, maybe people thought like you would just film real life and that would be a movie, you know, because like Citizen Kane is like the first real movie and it uses all these movie techniques like camera angles and using headlines to show what happened in the news and like, you know, it's all this editing and editing tricks and camera tricks that became the way we tell stories with moving pictures. And I just think that like that sort of grammar has to be created in AI creation, right? Because like, you know, like there are things that tell you you're watching a movie that don't happen in real life. Like a news headline appears on the screen all of a sudden to tell you something
Lots
happened,
don't
right?
know them.
It's movie grammar.
I'm
Yeah.
with you. There's a deeper philosophical reflection. All right, Ad Talk is about to go hard. There's I wasn't ready for this today, but I've had, you know, a couple espressos and you're gonna get this. When I was living in China, my aunt came to visit me, and who was a professor for a long time. She's a PhD in art history, and she said it's really important to remember that in art, to portray the idea of something is not to recreate it. And she said the way that she teaches this and the way that she was taught this, and there's an introductory art class, is if you go to people and you say, draw a chair, the way that you draw a chair is not to like recreate a chair, right? As like, and you will fail. If you try and draw a chair, that doesn't work. What you have to do is create the components of an image of a chair as it would be perceived by someone. And
Yep.
those two things are distinctly different. They are not the same thing at all. And to create the appearance of a chair is a distinct act from creating like in like perfect, what's the word I'm looking here? Perfect accuracy, a chair. And it's just true. I think this is true of all artifice. In order to capture the essence of something, because our brains are the things doing the processing, it's not just a matter of recreating the thing. You have to recreate the image how it exists in our minds, not as it exists in manifestation.
Fidelity, that's the word, right? Like there's
Fidelity, that's what I was looking for. Thank you.
But if AI can have perfect fidelity, that's right. It remains to be seen. But now that but it's not fidelity of reality, it's fidelity of other images.
Of perception. And that's what it has to get, right? I need to not make this look like the actual thing. I need to make this look like the way that people want it to be perceived in art form. And when you were talking about movies, right? Like there are these rules about making movies. This is what makes a movie a movie. Movies aren't just capturing day-to-day life. We don't like that actually. When we watch that, that's actually quite boring. Like seeing like you have to create an artifice that is a portrayal of what life is like, and that involves taste, right? That involves very specific moments and that are framed in specific ways, and also like language that's portrayed in specific ways, because the way that people normally talk doesn't make a good movie necessarily. There's a guy named oh gosh. When I was in college, there was a professor named Kenny Goldsmith. So I was in like a very like postmodern poetry program. And his famous book was Soliloquy. And he became Obama's like poet in residence for the
Obama's
some
poet?
absurd thing. This man was like kind of a charlatan. But Soliloquy was he transcribed, right? an entire 24-hour period. And which is actually a really taxing thing to do. Like in every raw detail, he transcribed the whole thing. And it was an 800-page book. But like, there's something to this where creating ads, creating art, creating whatever it is involves taste. And Marley Baker posts, "Is it art?" And this is an age-old discussion, right? Is conceptual art art? And because they would like, they say this is conceptual art, right? Like the thing itself is there's nothing pleasant about it. Like there's no like, it's not like looking at a beautiful painting. The concept is the work. Yeah, ad tech, ad talk.
Yeah, I'm going to bring it to like the value of AI, right? The value of AI
Please.
for business. Like there's so much attention on the value of AI for consumers, and me and many other consumers are involved in that, using it for our own hobbies. And it's definitely worth pointing out that as fun and interesting as that is, it's not really a viable business yet. It's still getting better, but like the leaps and bounds seem to be mostly in the past. And that where the value is going to hit businesses, like the value is going to have to be realized by businesses, right? Not you prompting yourself to a giant, one person prompting themselves to all the data in OpenAI is very expensive for OpenAI and doesn't necessarily give solutions, right? Because the prompting could be hard. You have to know how to ask, and it's just so wide open, right? It lacks nuance unless you prompt for a long time and use deep research and pay for the enterprise version and upload a bunch of your own data to it and so on. So if you take for granted that the value comes in enterprise, I think you run right into this question we were talking about. Art is like, well, does it just replace? Is the value just that it replaces human activity and makes them much cheaper? So like the value, obviously the only way that this is really valuable is if you fire people, or in some cases, like a business massively grows by adopting the technology, right? So either they cut people, or a small business booms by adopting technology that does things cheaper and faster. And I find this kind of an unsatisfying vision. Because it's just like, that's not really the history of technological innovation. Like there hasn't been too many that have really gone like that. There's someone always finds something new to do with it. Like we were saying about art, like somebody says, "Oh, this is what it's really for."
It expands.
Right?
It grows.
It
grows not just more than it contracts.
It's not just for
right?
replacing what we're doing. Like you could actually have a new kind of business around this.
Yeah, I think one way to think about that is it can often democratize things. Like when I think back to the invention of the word processor, right, which people talk about a lot. There's like a class of people who went out of business, right? Like the typists. They were replaced. Yeah, I like that. I
Let
think
me read
AI
it
is a
for
tool.
our audio.
Yeah,
You
let's
have to
read
read
it.
it for our audio viewers.
Photography was not art, and then it was. AI is in transition to becoming art. Burger King's ad is a prime example of using AI as a tool to produce creative content. I think this is the right take. I think AI is a tool. And when new tools are introduced, there are inevitably people who say, well, that's not the thing that it was before. I've heard this before when it comes to electronic music. A lot of hippies out there who say they're not playing guitars, they're not banging drums. That's not really music. Like they're just twiddling around on a computer. It's a tool. A tool is a tool.
What I mean is like when search came out, in some ways it was like the Yellow Pages, and like, the TV stores in Times Square that took out Yellow Pages ads around the country wherever they thought there was going to be demand for the cheapest possible TVs, lowest possible price on Japanese TVs, which was their specialty. Like that's not really who boomed. A good example of who boomed through search is Zappos, who said, we're going to be a shoe store that has all the shoes. There's a whole bunch of information on fit, and that has free returns. So it's extremely search friendly, right?
Yeah.
So they changed the online shoe business. And I was active in search marketing when Zappos was competing with equivalents from DSW. There was a Gap one. I even think there was an Amazon one, though Amazon eventually beat eventually bought Zappos. But Zappos was the best because they built their business around search. The question they were asking was, how do we sell the most shoes through search? And I think there's a bunch of things that you could do that with AI, and like, advertising services is the one that comes up first. Like maybe holding companies have to fire people to adopt it, effectively. But the more interesting question is if you're starting a ad services company now, adopting these tools, what can you offer that no one's ever offered before, right? Not just
Oh my
replace.
gosh.
Yeah.
I had this exact reflection, and we're going to talk about this more in Post-Mortem, I think.
Let's go to
But I had this
Post-Mortem.
reflection. Let's go to Post-Mortem. Let's use that to frame this but before we go there, I do want to say there was one really interesting post I saw. Do you know who Anaquez is? I
No.
probably mispronounced that name. She is the CEO of a company called Papaya Global, which, if there are any other founders listening to the show, I have a lovely thing to tell you about, and that is the wonder of the PEO, the Professional Employment Organization.
You
And
like those?
oh, I love them. Oh, and let me tell you why. So I've sold a company to a publicly traded company. And when I did that, we had multiple organizations in multiple countries because we were like, oh, we're hiring all of these people in all of these countries. We're going to it's cheaper for us to incorporate and do this all here. And so I had a Polish company, I had a Swiss company, I had an American company.
I see.
We
I
opened
see.
all these
No wonder
things.
you love PEOs.
Correct. And then even just
Challenge.
intra-United States, state level compliance, right? Taxes, blah, blah, blah. We
It's a
had
full-time
done
job.
all of these things all wrong, by the way, because we were a startup. We had 30 employees. We didn't know how to comply with all of the rules. We didn't have people to deal with this. We didn't have time. And then the acquirer also looked at us and was like, hey, we don't know how to buy Swiss companies because we're an American company and we don't have a Swiss office. So so how do we deal with this? If I had done everything through a PEO back then, it would have made my life so much easier because it's like, oh, this is all handled by the PEO. Just transfer it over. It just works.
Yeah.
Everything I do now, PEO. But she is the CEO of what was then one of the PEOs that I was talking to right before we sold my last company, and they had 10 employees at the time. She was our salesperson. We were talking to her. It's now an Israeli unicorn. It's valued over $1 billion.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. And she posted today and was like, my mandate for AI internally is that all of my employees use it to be more efficient, to save 1 to 2 hours per day, and that they take those 1 to 2 hours for themselves and they
Wow.
don't do more work.
Wow.
And she said, and I was like,
That's so Israeli.
that's so Israeli. Yeah, it's so Israeli. It's awesome. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's an interesting, slightly virtue signaling, but it is what it is. It's still a lovely perception where if she's like, hey, the company's crushing it, we're machines. I would love for you all to do better, but I would also love for you all to just be happier. Yeah, it's an interesting thought. I thought it was a nice little reflection.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's a good. I don't know if that's going to be the model, but it's a nice story.
No, it's not. It's certainly not a thing.
Maybe. I don't know if people want it. Americans want it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I want it. I'm
We live
almost
to
done
work.
working.
We don't work to live here.
Let's go to Post-Mortem.
Let's do it.
Please join me in inviting
feature.
President Barack Obama and Kehinde Wiley to unveil the portrait.
This is where we look at the most notable ad tech social media posts of the week. Good job, Obama and Kehinde Wiley. Who is Kehinde Wiley, by the way? Is he the artist of that portrait?
All I know is the suit, and that's
The suit's
deep.
incredible. Yes,
This is deep in
he
my
is.
brain.
It's that portrait of Obama with all the green leaves or behind him. Yeah.
Oh. Ad Tech Auction House presents current live Post-Mortem. Let's talk about it. Okay. This one got spicy. This was a good one. You want me to read this, Adam, or you want to read it?
You do it.
I will. Hey, Brian. OpenRTB is a protocol for day trading. AdCP is a protocol for investing. This is an article that Brian wrote last week, or Claude wrote for Brian last week. Programmatic is for quants. The mental model is algorithms fighting for an edge on individual impressions, but most advertising decisions look like portfolio management, how to allocate across channels, partners, and products to maximize return. Today, advertisers buy from 3 to 5 platforms because execution costs scale with complexity. Agents collapse that cost. Diversify to 20 suppliers, and portfolio theory does the rest. For more, check out my blog on ads post. So I have a lot to say about this. I think that one really interesting thing here is that there's been he starts out with OpenRTB, setting OpenRTB up as in opposition to AdCP. I don't know anyone who would say that OpenRTB was ever used by anyone to allocate all of the budgets that they have.
Never
I don't
used it.
think that that's ever been a thing. I think
Never
that's
been used.
always been the job of an agency. And the agency's job is to allocate between these things called channels. And within a channel, the expectation is that the channel itself is a day trading system. Like the channel itself, its job is to efficiently deliver outcomes. That's its job. And each channel is assessed on its ability to do that. So I wanted to respond to this like in line, but I've got some press coming out, so I didn't get to do it. I really, really think that what this is describing is exactly what you were just talking about. This is describing an agency. And AdCP has stumbled upon the realization that it is an agency tool. And it is a tool to do the job that agencies have said for many, many years is the job that they do, which is they do look like portfolio managers, right? An agency is, I have a brand who has literally given me this money to invest on their behalf to drive some sort of result that I've agreed upon with them. And please go. Please.
They do not literally give them the money.
Oh, that's true. They say they will.
Yeah, they pay later.
But yeah, I think this is a truth. And the initial quote aside, because I think that the initial quote directly flies in the face of this, because OpenRTB has never been the like purview of allocation for investment. That's not what its job has ever been. I think that this is a really like powerful way to describe the fundamental transformation that agencies are about to undergo. And my thought on this, and my like shower thought the other day was, one person armed with an army of agents who can now go to a brand and say, look, you don't have any internal specialists who know marketing the way that I do. I can run marketing for you. I can do it with a small team. And I can manage meaningful amounts of budgets with a small team, and I can crush it. I think it's the day of the micro agency has arrived, because I do think that there is a true reflection in here, which is the economies of scale that used to be necessary to and used to be really helpful for like all of these allocations and pre-purchasing inventory and doing all this stuff. That stuff is mostly gone. And who was it? Sorrel talked about that too.
It might be gone, but the reality is Coca-Cola might need billboards up in Indonesia next week, and no amount of AdCP is going to help you with that.
Not yet. Digital out of home, Adam. Got to get some billboards in Indonesia flowing through some exchanges.
Jakarta digital out of home scene is TBA.
Yeah. But I certainly think this is a powerful reflection. And my second thought after this was, okay, if we move to this world where you have micro agencies really effectively managing individual brands, there's going to be a PE model that rolls up those micro agencies. And then I was like, wait, oh my God, that's a holding company. We have a different flavor. Because if like the micro agencies out there, some person goes out there, they convince 10 brands that like they can do it. And that's where they kind of cap out because, they're still human in the loop. There's a great business model to go out and just buy up those little agencies and be like, oh, hey, you're a profitable business. You're a great services-based business. I'm going to clump a bunch of these together, implement economies of scale for the operational side of the business, right? Finance operations, administration, stuff like that. I was like, oh God, we're gonna rinse and repeat. Sorrel should buckle up again. He should go raise another bunch of money for S4 Capital and start rolling up little mini agencies that use agents.
Maybe Brian should do that. I don't understand Brian. I certainly don't advise Brian, but if I were to advise him, I would say maybe look at services. They're a big believer in massive efficiency gains of portfolio management, but it really doesn't have much to do with RTB. Like even in high frequency trading where algorithms do the work, they need a really low latency deployment in high frequency trading to actually make those algorithms work. and it's going to be much the same in RTB. But
Well, and very rarely are high frequency trading companies portfolio managers, right?
yeah,
Like if people pay Goldman to go and invest in 20 different high frequency trading companies who have different strategies and different pitches who drive different results, and each of them gets allocation in the portfolio according to their performance, right? You move money through the different people,
yeah,
you try and
it's
diversify.
not the big
That's the
job.
job of a portfolio manager, and
It's
that
not the
is
big job. It's not
it
the
has
big
nothing to
job.
do with high frequency trading. Like,
No, but my point was that, yeah, the algorithmic part, the part that that technology really changes is the high frequency part. Like you need
yeah.
really low latency action for AI to make you money.
Yep.
You can't have you don't have like a algorithmic portfolio management company. Like, you know,
Yeah,
it's not like that.
well, that's the part that doesn't need speed, and that's the part that's done by a human because it looks at how things are going every once in a while, right?
It's kind of
Like,
easy. It's a little
like, hey,
easy.
yesterday was pretty good. Just moves this here, move this here,
But
but
somebody
they're just
responded
totally
to Brian
distinct.
on a totally other angle, and
Yeah,
we'll
yeah,
give
yeah.
this
Can we
kid
bring
a
up
little
Wills?
oxygen.
Can we bring up Wills? Oh,
Let's see
gosh, I
Paul
love
Allen's
this.
card.
Yeah, I'll read Will's response.
All right, go for it.
Thanks for writing on this. I've been waiting for someone. I've been waiting for someone to write about how agentic buying and selling could ever be mathematically as good as OpenRTB. The claim that the majority of advertising isn't standardized, it's negotiated, conflates two different layers. When an advertiser goes to Google or Meta, yes, there's a negotiation happening at the campaign notification layer. You dedicate your budget, your audience, your objectives. You could imagine agents helping with this part, similar to how you might describe a campaign to an account rep in natural language. But once those parameters are set, what actually places the ads is not a negotiation, it's a recommendation system. Now, Will here, he used to work for Chalice, is a machine learning engineer. He says he's starting something now. He left Chalice, went to another company, and now he says he's in stealth mode building. But he's like a real deal machine learning engineer who used to win Kaggle contests, and he could definitely go toe to toe with Brian or anyone else on how the back end machinery really works. Make it big again. This isn't the one where he actually gets into the costs on AWS Fabric, is it? He
No,
did
this
that
is not that post, but that's a
another
great post.
reply. So he goes on to say that, let me see. Yeah, the what actually places the ads is a recommendation system, extremely complicated ML algorithm, scoring every impression against the advertiser's objective function in milliseconds. And it works precisely because it is not two agents reasoning and conversing. It's a single system with full information about both sides, optimizing a well-defined objective. And then he responded to another post where Brian tried to say that Agentic was cheaper, and Will came back with data that no one can refute, talking about the actual cost of running ML inference on AWS Fabric, which is brand new to do this kind of decisioning. And I just in Will Kukowski, I think Brian O'Kelly has found his sitting bull. Like this is is that who beat Custer?
Oh, I don't know.
It
I like the
looks
reference. I don't know it.
it looks a little like Custer's Last Stand, where Brian has been spreading his messages into the market. A lot of people don't want to argue with him because of who he is. Will is like a little Brian. He's super expert. He's super ambitious, and he's willing to engage in, this kind of like completely open way. That at the same time is aggrandizing himself and his knowledge and his ambition, and it's certainly interesting to watch. So it's a perfect thing to cover on Post-Mortem.
I just
Kukowski,
really,
the
really
kid.
like that we're coming around on this, right? The the fact that he had a quote putting AdCP and OpenRTB in the same line, but then the rest of the post was basically no. AdCP is an agency automation tool. That is the message, right? The message is that AdCP is an agency automation tool. Like that's it. They share a core term, agent. Like
Yeah.
the OpenRTB is a channel that agencies allocate to, and it will be for the foreseeable future because it works better. Buying and selling bundles is another channel it's an alternative channel, right? The direct sales channel. And I'm willing to bet every single agency on earth views them as separate channels, right? Is this true? When you were at Horizon, right? There was probably a DSP channel and there was probably a direct negotiated deals channel. And like, they're like,
Oh, of course.
maybe they're both inside the display budget, but they're just separate things. They're separate things that the portfolio manager allocates to. And
I
the
think
job of
the
allocating
bigger
them is
point, the
portfolio.
bigger point is, all right, let's say what used to cost $1 now costs 20 cents. There's 80% savings. How do you capture that value? Like, how would WPP capture that value? By firing 80% of the employees? Like, no one really loves that idea, right? So if you're gonna say this adds 80% of value by automating things the agency already does, you should go the next step and say, who gets that value and how?
Well, and I wonder if that savings exists. So I have this coming in my upcoming blog post that was supposed to be out this week, but it got pushed to next Tuesday because news. Most of the agencies have already engaged in tremendous cost savings in like wherever they can, right? Like WPP, every job that can be in India is in India, right? Like that's already a thing that happened.
Yes, it's driven by advertiser decisions, not the advertisers' decision to not to pay them minimal amounts, and ask for tons of people doing things like billboard buys in Jakarta, and trying to pay them, 4% of media and ridiculous shit. So of course, they've already lowered their costs.
Yeah, like how much lower can it go?
Yeah,
like that part of the business is actually pretty optimized, isn't it? Like it's like pretty cost optimized. And I think if you were to tell WPP, like, we can save you money on this part of your business that's already probably like pretty low.
yeah. The acronym idea is, let's take this technology that's more efficient and find things to do with it that people are not doing today, that are manifestly better than the way things are being done today. And let's grow that competitive business so that at the same time that we, maybe drive WPP into bankruptcy or whatever, that something else is growing and adding value and making the market not just more efficient, but more productive. So that's,
there is a place for this in ad tech as it exists. And I think that you like it with the OpenRTB agentic standard. I think the OpenRTB agentic standard is starting to think about it. But the Trade Desk data marketplace also goes in this direction. And I think that there's a different way to implement trader assistance tools that are, hey, we kind of know best practices for what a trader should be doing. We see you're targeting this segment. You've set up this frequency. You've set up this billing. We think you should set up these other 2 or 3 strategies with these settings using these segments, blah, 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 based on what we see other people doing in the platform. And that could be a really cool product, Pontiac. That could be really cool. Because I think don't make it a replacement. Make it someone driving shotgun with you. Whereas like, oh, hey, have you thought about trying this? This might work really well for you.
This is like the bias against reach, right? If you're a performance platform, reach is very risky. And if you're actually an advertiser, you should take the risk of reaching more people all the time just to learn how they respond. And if there's a way
100%.
you can persuade them. So the algorithms have failed at that. But the one that's done the most is Google, right? Because Google has so much money, they can't let people just target narrowly and not go for reach. So Google forces reach in a bunch of ways and encourages reach in a bunch of other ways. But I don't think their tech is actually that good for like reaping true value out of improved reach. And I don't know, it's certainly an interesting question.
Yeah.
A point that doesn't get made enough is that the way attribution works, you can get credit for every conversion just by reaching everyone.
Yeah.
So
post-fee attribution, 100%. This is why the systems are smart to do it this way. People say that they game attribution. I'm like, no, that's what optimization is.
that's what,
Like if you're optimizing to post-view conversions, don't be surprised when the system is serving ads to every single person that think it might convert.
But the real interesting use case is an advertiser like Geico that really does reach everyone. So if you already do reach everyone, then all this attribution doesn't tell you anything. Like we've reached everyone and we got some conversions.
Yeah.
Some of them converted. So it's really useless. So I don't really think it's a measurement question. I think it's a prediction question and a growth question about, how do you predict what's valuable to reach and at what cost? I think that's
I think Facebook does it really dumbly. Anyone who's ever media bought on Facebook knows that if you duplicate the same campaign 10 times, it serves to vastly different groups of people.
So you're saying it's
And
random. It does some randomization in the
it
reach.
does.
Yeah.
It
That's a good
definitely does.
start. That's how you
And
start. Yeah.
and because some campaigns just take off like a rocket and some of them perform absolutely terribly. It's a real thing. They don't tell you how they're doing it, but I'm sure that there's some internal thing there where they're like, all right, this one's getting this group to start testing on, this one's getting this group to start testing on. And that's what every affiliate buyer, every media buyer will tell you, that you need to duplicate a lot. And then if you have some that you just say, okay, I'm going to focus here and spend all my money in this when it starts working, and let it expand its little web.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll cover how Chalice handles that some future one. All right.
Ooh.
Paul Bannister, a leader on the pub side, is saying something me and Gareth have been saying for weeks, that publishers need to have higher quality pages to get higher CPMs. He says right on this article, publishers only used to make money by having more ads and more placements and more views. Now they could actually make more money from quality. I'm surprised, right? Paul Bannister's company Raptive used to be Cafe Media. They're known for having recipe sites and, different a big network of topical sites. They got a lot of search traffic and weren't especially good for monetization, but not necessarily quality. So where's Paul
Is
coming from?
surprised the word you're looking for?
Surprise. I'm surprised. Surprised. I'm surprised.
I'm not surprised.
Why is Paul saying this?
Because Paul previously released an article talking about being like anti-transaction ID, right? These guys were they were the ones carrying water to do battle with the trade desk on transaction ID. And the trade desk beats the drum of quality. Beats the drum.
Yeah.
This is a conciliatory post, right? This is we are not on the opposite side of quality. We are on the side of quality. And we see it making more money, so we are obviously doing it. And I really think Raptive wants to do this. Like, I work with Raptive. I know them. I think that they're working on it. But I think that Paul is a really smart guy, and he knows that, hey, there's a little bit of resuscitation that needs to happen here, because if you're on the opposite side of a debate from Trade Desk has very, very, very effectively placed themselves as, listen, we care about quality. Like, like there are many things you can say about them and like many critiques you can have of them, but saying they don't care about quality as a DSP is not one of them. They have made investments. Jeff Green went to the pre-bid summit to speak about how they are spending a time and money and thought in quality. They're like, so I think that this is like an olive branch, right? Like, hey, we believe in quality too. Don't forget about us.
Are publishers seeing improved yield from things like lowering ad density yet? Have you heard of that?
No. I'm
Yeah.
trying to make it happen, right? Like when
Us too.
publishers implement Gamera, I try and like funnel spend to them by having people target our segments. You guys do it when you buy with quality data. I think the trade desk is doing it in limited scope when people use Sincera data. I think that just not enough money is flowing there yet for it to be materially different. Like we are,
Yeah, it's harder
the two of us just aren't big enough, right? There's too much
We're not
budget
that
out
big.
there. Like,
I want to
big
talk
as
to you
we
about a
are.
challenge. Like the avails on quality pages are very spread out. There's only one domain with a lot of quality pages and a lot of traffic. Do you know what it is?
I heard you say it earlier. I would not have guessed it, by the way.
Yeah, if anyone from Yahoo is watching, you should sponsor this show because we have data showing a very tilted imbalance of avails on quality pages toward Yahoo. And we're looking at, we're containerized, unthrottled, so we're looking at full stream, and it's a bit challenging to get advertisers on more quality pages on more domains because it's sort of needle in a haystack, and our filtering isn't up to it yet to get to be able to filter for quality so that our bitstream isn't clogged with with garbage or Yahoo, all garbage or all Yahoo. So it's been challenging because but we'll definitely get there. But interesting fact that it's the quality pages have been hard to win the veils on.
I would say that any performance media buyer would be completely unsurprised by what you just said. There are two companies that I know that say lead gen. So, you know, the lead gen space, lead generation, where you like go help people find who have like internet ambulance chasers, right? This is a big business. They will do $20 IO based buys from Yahoo and MSN because they know that they work. It's a combination of audience, but also quality. It's both. Those guys don't buy anywhere else. The programmatic doesn't work for them. But calling up their Yahoo rep on the phone and being like, "Hey, I want that top placement," that works.
60% of the time, it works.
It is.
Every time.
They still do 2005 shit in media buying because programmatic has failed so miserably at making it happen, and Yahoo has the scale and they have the quality. It's a thing. You're welcome, Gabe. I'll ping Gabe.
Anybody out there not born yet in 2005?
Oh, don't say that. Oh, that's
out
weird.
They're
Yeah,
out there.
definitely are. They definitely are. 2005, what? That's 21 now. They're coming to the workforce.
The person's drinking.
That person is drinking. Maybe not. Have you seen the numbers?
That's right. That's right. They've quit drinking. I'm identifying as Gen Z now.
I think that's allowed. I think that's the rules.
Yeah. So a drink less.
No, it's amazing. Like, I drank the past 2 nights, and I can't do it anymore. I'm just I'm just out of the game.
I've been drinking less, and like the absence of a hangover is so profound to me now.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Once you get used to it, it's hard to go the other way. Where it's like, oh, how I don't feel good. Like, why do I not feel good? Yeah, it's interesting because drinking is such a part of advertising culture. Like it's such a part of it, right? All the T&E. I think about this a lot. I think about T&E a lot. I think about going out to restaurants and these big meals and all of the booze. And I don't know, what does the future look like? Does the future look like Ozempic portions and like
What good is AI if it can't give you something that tastes like whiskey and has the effects of whiskey but doesn't harm you? Like what are people working on? That's what people want.
This is a conspiracy theory rabbit hole that I have gone down many times with my friends.
Okay.
Which is where is the recreational like intoxicant industry? Where is that? How is there no legal recreational intoxicant industry where we're innovating in these things? We're using the things that the cavemen used to get intoxicated.
That's right.
What are we doing? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
That's right. You've not
Totally silly.
Liquor, beer, or fire yet.
And we know it's bad for you. Like the study came out, 1 or 2 drinks a night is, okay for you because it de-stresses you. Like, no, new data has come out. It is bad for you in any amount. There is no amount of alcohol that is not bad for you. It is.
Yeah, my doctor was telling me that. I realized when I was talking to him that I really needed a new doctor. All right, let's wrap it up.
Thank you, guys.
This is a great week. Thanks to Marley, Sasha, Maldo, the Ad Tech, Ad Talk crew, the viewers.
Thank you, chat.
Our sponsors.
Thank you for joining.
Past and future. Thanks to Planet Ad Tech, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week, guys.
Yo, the crowd is back, the lights are dim, front rows buzzing, it's about to begin. Ad Tech, Ad Talk, they're taking the stage. Adam and Gareth on a knowledge rampage. Ad Tech, Ad Talk.